Okay, so here is my advice to any normal thinking person who needs good advice. It is important to know thyself. When you know yourself, it's because you understand who you are, you have accepted who you are, and you continue to be who you are because it's for your own good. And the reason why I'm saying this is I've had these idiots, man. That's an idiot. If you guys are wondering who is an idiot on the road, see an idiot here. Yeah. He was parked underneath a stoplight talking to somebody and then drove off when I was about to go around him. Yeah, these are the idiots. Anyway, back to the main story. It's important to know thyself because there are ways that you have to go about things in life. And when you get to know yourself, you do what you know works best for you. Because a lot of people, they want you to walk their path. And that's not how life goes. If you walk their path, then you wouldn't be yourself. Right? Now, all of this came to me, well, not came to me, but I thought of making this video because I know I am the type of person to travel the path of least resistance. Oh, sorry. Least traveled. my mistake. I've always prided myself on traveling the path least traveled. And it goes all across life. So like currently, I'm driving on a road that, you know, if anybody knows this is called Chesterfield Avenue or Drive or whatever. Ugh, damn, didn't see that one. Now on Chesterfield, it's an alternate route to cut out, what's that place called? 3 miles and join Spanish Town Road at a certain point. And so I've oftentimes opted for Chesterfield Drive because it is a path that is least traveled or less traveled, not least traveled, less traveled for persons coming from Marcus Garvey, right? I choose to travel the path least traveled because it's more convenient for me. I have greater peace of mind. Now, oftentimes, the path least traveled is a more arduous path. If you're driving on a literal road, it has more potholes. It has more winds and curves. It's more stress on your brain. But I have less, I guess you could call it competition because less people are driving on it. And that is my choice. Likewise, in life and business, I've chosen the path least traveled. So for instance, and many times, in fact, let me put a little pin there. Many times the reason why some people choose a path that's traveled less by people is because they have more information than the other people, and so they realize the benefit of walking that path. So growing up, I was fortunate enough to be provided with information from the Bible that told me about sin and the wages of sin and what God is going to do when He returns for the world. And I made the choice to walk a path of not just giving my life to Christ, but to live a life that is more difficult. So I don't go to parties, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't practice promiscuity. I try my best regardless of whether or not I fail, to walk that path. It is more arduous. It is a greater strain on my brain, if you want to call it that, just like those bad roads. But I know that is it's the better path. So while I drove a more arduous road, a more arduous route, in turns I cut out some traffic. Likewise, in walking the Christian path, I have avoided many of the pitfalls that men will face. Now, mind you, I'm saying men because relationships popped into my head. Now, mind you, I have gone through a lot of crap, but it's just a part of life. It just, me just walking this Christian path does not mean I am immune to it. So I've met some let me just spit it out. I met some pretty crappy women, even though I say I only date Christian women, but a few have fallen through my filter and presented themselves in a way, and then I realized they really aren't that person, right? So I choose that life. And likewise, in business, I've worked for many years for other people, private and public sector. I've mastered many skills, and I at some point saw it fit to start walking a different path. A path I knew I would eventually walk, the path of an entrepreneur. And it took a while for me to start this journey. And it's not an easy journey. I'll go back and use the same word I use. It's an arduous journey. It is a difficult path to walk. I just finished a day's, not a full days of work, because although it depends on how you look at it, because I got some supplies earlier, which will make my life easier, or my work easier. And so you could technically say that's part of the job, but if I'm not sitting down programming something or building or repairing something, in my mind I don't consider it part of work, even though it is. Even that time when I left what I was doing to go and check a supplier regarding somebody who handles my branding, and the person, the supplier actually screwed up my branding, and I was expecting it, but I didn't really consider that part of the job, even though the branding is going to be promoting the business. Yeah, it will be adding to the value of the business, but I just thought of it as a waste of my time, something I should delegate to someone, which I can't do at the moment. But the point is, I just went through a day's worth of work, and I'm going back home, or in this case I'll just say I'm going back to the office, and I'm going to finish what I was working on. And when I say finish, it's just more work until I fall asleep, until I'm too weary to continue. Or, here's a little secret, until the day breaks. Because so many times I've been working on projects. And when I say projects, projects take different form for me. It could be more software related, building a website, building a database, configuring an AI, a number of things. Could be me processing paperwork for an upcoming project. It involves a lot of stuff. Could be, and that normally involves me sitting at a desk, right? No, projects also involve me climbing a light post, climbing buildings, stuff like that. regardless of the project, at the end of the day, and the end of the day for me is when I eat dinner. So whether I'm at the office or I am, let me get out of here because this guy's holding me up, or I am at a client, I go home and I have dinner, and then I work out, well, walk the dog, work out, and then I bathe, and then I sit down and I do more work. And as I said, when it's software related, mind you, I could be fixing a computer. So the reason why I'm just, the point is where I'm located. It's stuff I can fix computers or desktop or laptops or servers. They're at home. But oftentimes it's software related. I try not to bring those types of work with me, right? So unless absolutely necessary, it's an emergency. So I will end the day and still start back over. Continue then, not start back over. I'll continue. And I will work until I'm like last night, that pothole. I've been trying to avoid this pothole for so long and I don't know exactly where it is. And every time I look out for it, I miss it. Meaning I don't see where it is. So now I wasn't sure where it was because I still can't find it. And now that I've fallen in there, you know. Anyway, yeah. So I even lost my chain of thought. But last night I worked up until after 1 and I was feeling weary. No, was it after 1 or after 2? No, after 2. My mistake. After 2. I was doing a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I finished there. I was building this well, there's a system I built out as a procurement system, and then I was putting on some finishing touches so it could be accessed. Not a pothole. So I could access it from anywhere in the world and assign team members to do work in it. Anyway, but after 2 I was feeling weary. My eyes were dry from earlier when I was working out, and I was feeling really weary. And I knew I had a meeting in the morning and then to go to a client, and so I finished up. I didn't go beyond the 2ish. Didn't go towards 3. Right? Or if I don't have a client to go to, I will work and work right up till 4. And if I feel weary, or when I say weary, like I feel like I could go to sleep. If I don't, I'll keep working because I'll probably just sit in bed, lay in bed, thinking about solutions to the problems I'm trying to fix. You know, that's the life of that's the life of this entrepreneur, right? So that's how I'd go. Or if I'm really on a roll, especially something that the solutions are a little bit clearer to me, like when I'm building a website, the solutions are a little bit clearer. It's like everything is clicking because I spent over the last year, I spent hours just tuning and fine-tuning and tweaking. So my mastery is a little bit fresher, right? And so the solutions are a little bit easier for me. While I'll be building a database and I'll come up on a problem that I've probably never seen, and I'll find a solution, but not as fast as I would want to, right? But I'll still find a solution within the day. It's not going to elude me for very long. Right? So there's that pothole. There's a pothole down here. There we go. Trying to avoid it. So trying to change lane and not have this bus hit me, and he wants to change lane and go in the lane that I'm coming from, and I don't want him to hit me either, right? So yeah, That's the life of the entrepreneur. I've chosen this path. I have no problem with it. I will never complain about it because it's the path I've chosen. And when you choose a certain path, it's just like picking a partner. If a woman picks a toxic man, she chose him. He's toxic, he beats her, kicks her in the belly or whatever he does. Or he makes her feel bad. Oh, my feelings are hurt. She chose him, right? She may not have chosen him because of his toxicity, meaning his disrespect and the box and kicks he gives her, but because he's charming, and it's a trade-off. So you want a charming guy who makes downstairs get wet. Should I say that? Anyway, yes, let's say that. I'm trying to be all right, let's not say it again. All right, so she gets very attracted to this type of person, and so oh boy, she's very attracted to this type of person because he has all the looks and the charm and the charisma and all that stuff, and there's a trade-off, and so he's abusive and so on and so forth. You chose that person. And likewise with a guy, this woman is beautiful and she has a rotten personality and she cheats on me and she defames my name when I'm not around. You chose her. It's a choice. And so the path I've chosen is entrepreneurship, and I have no qualms about it. And the beauty about my path, my walk, is that I actually got my information. Well, let me pause for a second there. Vuzi Sembekweyo spoke about this thing called first knowledge. So in case persons don't know what, which everybody should, but let me just say it anyway. There's this thing called due diligence that somehow I've gotten to live by. Due diligence is just doing your research, just checking things out. So you want a pair of headphones, right? You want a pair of headphones, and you don't want them to drop out your ears. So I one day did my due diligence and I found this type, right? And I would buy them online. Is this the right ear? Is it? Oh, literally the right ear. I didn't like running and having them fall out of my ear, so I went online years ago and found the first one, and when they had cords on them, and bought it, and it works well. And so every time I'm buying earbuds, they have to have these wings on them. They're more functional. They don't look very nice, just like in life, a man may not look as attractive as you might want, or a woman might not look as attractive, but they make your life so peaceful. This makes my life so peaceful. I can look, I don't have to be tucking anything in my ears. And another one right here, right? Makes my life so peaceful. I did the due diligence. And to be honest, I did when I said due diligence, I'm not just talking about looking on some pictures now. I checked out the battery capacity and all that stuff, right? And I would have checked it out, and having opened these things up when they went bad, that's part of my due diligence as well. Not at the same time, like when they would go bad, and I would realize the size of the batteries, how much, and I could have an idea what the size of the battery for the ones that look good, because remember, the ones that look good use batteries just the same. And seeing the size that's in mine, these ones here, and the size of those ones, I know their batteries are smaller, and so I get more battery capacity here. Not to say bigger physical batteries give you more battery capacity, but that's just how I do things. That's how I walk the path. I mean, I'm going to buy some outdoor what's that called again? Some outdoor network cables, and I can't believe there's so much traffic here at 5 minutes to 9. at Twickenham Park on a Thursday night. Anyway, so I went online. This is my due diligence now. Understand what I'm saying, guys. You need to use your brain. I have a project coming up, and so I went online because I buy stuff online oftentimes, but not every time. You have to use wisdom and intelligence. Meaning you need information to start things off, and then you need, which is intelligence. Intelligence is just information, right? Well, the use of information, and wisdom is interpreting information. Alright, that's just off the top of my head. Could be wrong, but I found cables within things were excellent. I was like, yeah, definitely I'd buy the cables online. But then I checked with some local suppliers, and it was like, alright, let me just check them out, because you never know. And then the one that had the costing that I liked, I used that as my benchmark because it was a lower costing. And interestingly enough, some places that I thought would have had the cable didn't, strange enough. And the most unlikely ones did. But after I did some calculations on duty, freight, and then I thought about how the customs charges weren't added as yet, I realized it would have probably cost me more, or it would cost me more than if I bought it from that particular supplier, or probably the same amount, because when the tax was added, it went up a bit, right? But the customs charge I couldn't predict that wasn't included. I think I'll probably do a recalculation from the Jamaica Customs website and see. But I did it through my shipping company. But the point is, first thing, I gave myself options by doing my due diligence. It's more work. It used up some of the time that I should have been working on a database, but it actually gave me enough information to finish. As much as you see me yawning, I'm not going to sleep, because I will not be able to power my mind down to go to sleep. So don't even feel like I'm going to fall asleep. I'm telling you better not feel like I'm going to go home and sleep. Alright? So back to the topic. These twitches that I have and muscle stiffness is sleep, but my circadian rhythm, I was going to squeeze, but I almost spliced those words together. My circadian rhythm see another idiot here, so 491 KU, another idiot. If you are watching this, Honda Grace 4911 KU, you're an idiot. Now, back to the topic at hand. In fact, I'm not going to dim the light, because I must be an idiot. I am waiting on the line, so I don't know why you can't wait. Now watch the idiot tailgating the highest. The highest can take your lick and mash up your car, you know? So chip up. Anyway, my circadian rhythm is messed up, so I don't go to sleep when normal people do. But so I use that to just do work. I still going to go home and do work, and I'm not going to fall asleep. I know that. But so I just work right through, right? So I do my due diligence and I get my information. I can tell you, I bought 2 pairs of earbuds. One of them was for a personal phone. So, and even if it was just a personal phone and not my business phone, I still would do my due diligence. In fact, I knew exactly that these were the ones I had, so I took up the box and I see the idiot let the idiot let the light change on me by cutting in. Anyway, I brought the box, and here's how I did my due diligence now in a very low tech way. I'm downtown. I'm walking in a section that I know is where I got the last pair. I got the last pair much cheaper than the amount I got it for today. And it was kind of frustrating paying more money. It was like 1,200 the last time, and this time I bought it for 2,000. Quite annoying. But anyway, I found it in one place. I couldn't find the place that I initially got it, but it was on the same road. I'm even wondering if it's the same place and I just don't realize. And then the thing is, when I came out, here's the lesson that I learned after all of these things now, is I came out and I took a picture of the building so I could find it again, but it had no name on it. These places downtown change the names all the time. So many times I'm shopping and they're repainting another name, right? So I took it at an angle so I would capture that building and the name of the building next door, which could change. but the thing is, I went there, saw the earbuds I wanted, came out, went and checked some other places. I would check quite a few places. When I say quite a few. I finished that road. I checked on the main. I checked places that I was buying other things. I checked. My brain works kind of fast, I guess. So a lot of them I could just do a quick scan and know if this place was just like a female clothing place alone, a household item place, and just do a quick scan, or if it's a what do you call it again, a hybrid of technology and clothing and so on. So I went through quite a few places, and then I interestingly enough found somewhere on the same road that had the same earbuds, but for more money. They had two sets. They had the same brand, and funny enough, I never even went up to it. I just saw the name of the brand that I initially saw, and it wasn't the same brand as the one I had, that I had a box for. And when I went to the other one, it had the one that I had the box for and the brand that was at the other store. And the one that was at the other store was cheaper than both. And of the two that was at the second store, the one that I had the box for was more expensive, and the one that was the same as the one at the initial store was still more expensive than that one. So I was just like, alright, I'm not shopping here. And I went back to that one and I bought two of them. I was only going to buy one, but the thing is, while I was doing all of this, remember, this thing is going to be beneficial to me, because I don't shop like normal people. When I'm shopping, it is something that has to be of real benefit. Like, I'm not just going to see something and say, oh, that's a nice pair of shoes. Okay, I think I'm going to buy it just because it's on sale. No. Well, I'll do it, but not often. It has to be a circumstance where I'm going to think and I'm going to say, okay, this is a blue pair of shoes. Okay, I have 3 black shoes. One of them is almost, I'm definitely going to have to get rid of it soon, but the other 2 are in good condition. I don't need another pair of black shoes really, because I have 3 pairs, and maybe, I don't know, 2 were a gift or something, you know. And I'll reason all of that out while I'm considering buying. And then I might say, okay, this is blue. Well, I need to well, I was going to say versatile. I need to make my wardrobe more, I can't remember. There's a word. Anyway, you guys can drop it in the comments below if I don't say it before this ends. I need to make my my wardrobe more, let's just call it versatile or expansive. That's not, those aren't the words though. So I'll say, okay, let me get this in blue, and it's a good price. Okay, I'll buy it. But if I see another blue shoes of the same type, whether it's formal or if the one I thought was casual, I won't buy it. Not just for buying sake. So I went there, bought some tools, bought some very small electronics that would help me, and alright, just a bit of detail. I needed a car charger. I have a car charger, but what was I doing again? I had opened it up to understand the circuitry to fix another car charger, which I was using to, it's going off rails now, but to break down the power coming from a solar panel so it would charge or it would provide 5 volts of power, right? And I think one wire had broken off, and I was supposed to solder back the wire on and fit everything back up, and I just can't get around to it, even though the solder iron is right beside it and I've used the solder iron for so many things. But it was very small circuitry, and so I keep putting it off, even though I've soldered quite a few things after that happened. But those things that I soldered were stuff that ended up helping me in the long run, like making money, or like for instance, I had some beats and something got damaged, and I did some soldering and got it up and running in time to go and do my 5K run, the blue run, one of those, yeah. So when I shop, it's for something really worthwhile. I could have just gone on a shopping spree. It's not like I can't afford it. I was going to pause it, but maybe the Lord spoke to them and they paused it so I don't have very much noise. So I'm going to continue. So, okay, they start back. What I'm passing. So, I bought the tools. I bought that so I can charge my. And the thing is, I normally drive multiple vehicles. I had, in fact, this is gonna give it too many details, but the charger I usually use for my SUV, that's what I had just pulled apart for the, and I had actually rebuilt that one. But I pulled that apart to use for the solar panel, and then the other one that I had pulled up to check the circuitry, I was using for my car. But because I drive this pickup sometimes to carry like my load and stuff, I needed one for this as well, and so I had to buy it. And there were so many things I was like, that would be so useful, but I'm like, is it urgent? No. And I was thinking about my time that in my mind I was thinking I was wasting time.